About every 5 years, or maybe 3 times a decade, we get a declaration of a vintage port year. This morning we've been doing exactly that because the port ship has almost universally just declared, i.e. chosen to release their vintage ports from 2016. Now this is the first time that it's been universally released since 2011, and I'll come back to that in a minute. But it's a great opportunity for them all to come over and show their ports. We always then ask for samples of them all to do a tasting, which we have done traditionally, around the same time as the release, and we do them all blind. So I've now taken the bags off the bottles so that you can see what they are, but actually we tasted them all blind. We had 3 members of the press in as well, and a team of 7 of us tasting. So the 10 of us will go through, all in all, we'll give our scores. Uniquely for this tasting, given we normally score out of 20, uniquely for this tasting we do out of 10. And we have all given our views on that. It's not a matter of ranking the wines, we give them all an absolute score. And something got 4 and some others got 9.5, so the full range gets used. And it's a really good opportunity pre the release of an offer of them, which will be either later this week or early next week, to get a good feel for them. And it's quite a specific thing to do. So I think 11 o'clock on a Monday morning, 21 different vintage ports that are real puppies is quite a difficult thing to do, but it's an interesting way to start the week for sure.
Those wines, some of the wines, they're so amenable now, but absolutely, because that balance is there already, you can see that those wines are going to go the distance as well. So I'm very excited about this vintage.
Yeah, I thought it was more variable than the 11s.
Yeah.
I thought there was some great wines there, some lovely purity in some wines, and a bit of jamminess in some of the others. But yeah, it's up there as one of the great vintages, and one you should buy.
Yeah,
definitely, I agree with you. I mean, it was a hot summer. One or two of the wines that I marked down for being a little bit baked, but actually the best wines have got lovely poise and lovely balance there, and there's some great definition of fruit. And I think one of the things that showed up over the last decade or so is the fact that the quality of the spirit that's being used is so that much better now than it was, and it's allowing the fruit to show through at this stage. And even some of the, shall I say, sort of wines that are going into adolescence, things like 2007, 2003 now, they're not shutting down in the way that they used to, and they used to have that sort of clam up sort of character. These wines are open, expressive, really lovely wines there, and I think there's some very good wines there.
So we've done all of that. We've just had a little bit of lunch afterwards, but the tasting went incredibly well. And what we then do is, in this ledger, which is one of the few old documents we have left, is to then rank all of the wines and take everyone's scores into account. So this is the 2011 vintage report. My handwriting is far too untidy to be allowed to do this, so this will be done by someone who can actually write later. But all the scorers, all of their scores, and then we rank them and come out. What's always very interesting in doing that is that the winner is often not one of the big houses. A lot of the big names do well, but there's often a quirky winner, and Gould Campbell, which doesn't even exist anymore, has won 2 or 3 times more recently. But it's one of the more unique sort of moments, one of the times when we can get our initials into the sort of history of C&B as one of those tasters who's done it. So that's really the range of the wines. 21, it's not absolutely every single vintage port that's released, but it's about as comprehensive as you're going to get in London, that's for sure. So there we go. We like the wines. We think the style of the vintage is somewhere similar in quality to the 2011s, which sold very, very well, which is good. Prior to that was 2007, 2003, so it's been on the sort of 4 or 5 year span basis recently. But we're looking forward to selling them. We'll be sending, as I say, our offer out later this week or early next week. But port is where it's at this morning. Cheers.